Hello everyone, it's Diane. I have been working on a couple of journals this week. I haven't done any craft with me videos with it because sometimes I just need to work quietly, and that's how it was this week. I just needed to be quiet. But I'm getting to the end. I'm working on the cover for the second journal, and then I can put everything together. So I thought I would just kind of let you see what I'm doing. I am on the design team for Studio 28E, and I chose the baby girl kit. So she sent me the baby girl digital kit and the add-ons for it. So I did a baby girl journal right here, and then I wanted to do a baby boy journal and offer them both at the same time. So I used things that I've been collecting. I have a lot of vintage things that I've been saving for baby journals. So that's why I chose a baby girl journal. So anyway, I'm working on the baby boy journal, and I'm going to do the cover. So I just thought I'd bring you along, let you see what I've been working on. I know that baby journals probably won't sell as quickly as the other journals that I make because they're pretty specific. But think about anybody that you know that's having a baby, or that will be having a baby within the next 9 months, or even to store for future baby journals or baby gifts. You know what I'm trying to say. So anyway, let me just show you quickly. I'm not going to go through the journals because I'll do that when they're done, but the cover, I should have done a craft with me on the cover, but I had no idea what I was doing. I just kind of made it up as I went along. I had this quilted pillow sham that I had gotten at the thrift store. So this was the front and this was the back. And they're already quilted with batting and backing. So I cut it apart, so there are two sections of it now. And I cut the size of the journal cover that I wanted. So I knew I wanted to use this for the cover, but I didn't really want it to be a soft cover journal. So then I had to figure out how to do it. So here's what I came up with, and maybe you'll think, why did she do it that way? There's another better way, but this is what I came up with. I cut my 3 pieces of chipboard. I wrapped the backs of the pieces with paper and wrapped it around like I would normally do to the front, because normally I would wrap the front and then glue a piece of paper to the inside. But this time I wrapped it from the back, and then I just glued it to my piece of quilt, and it becomes a cover. And then I made some pockets, as you can see. So I hope that makes sense, what I'm showing to you. And I just glued the quilt right to the edge, and I used the finished edge at the top and the side. And of course the bottom wasn't finished because I had to cut it, so I put some lace around there. And then this edge wasn't finished, so I took some vintage seam binding and wrapped it around and glued it. So I hope that makes sense. And then I put on some vintage doilies here. And I will show you the rest of the journal when I have it all sewn together. For the baby boy journal, I didn't have a quilted cover to use, so I am just using a hardcover book. I had gone to the library that has $1 a bag book sale, because I have a lot of book covers that are really pretty book covers, and I don't want to cover them up, but I didn't have any plain ones that I could use for specific things like the baby journal. None of the fancy covers that I have, except maybe Reader's Digest, would have worked for a baby journal. So I had gone and gotten a large bag full of books that were just plain that I can cover up and decoupage on and whatever. So I had a blue one, and that's what I decided to use. And then I did have this lap throw that someone made, and it doesn't have batting. It's just squares, large squares, maybe 3 by 3. And then a piece of cotton on the back, and it's tied. It's not quilted, it's tied with yarn in the corners. So I decided to go with that. I found some masculine colors here. Just cut a couple pieces. I left the ties on and kind of glued them so that they wouldn't be pulling out, because I did pull the back off of it. And then I added a piece of polka dot fabric. This is actually a vintage sheet, the polka dots. And then this cutout that I've had in my stash for a long time. And some pom-pom, is that what they're called? Yo-yos. Yo-yos that I got from Etsy. I should not have glued them on yet because I can't lay my cover down flat while I'm constructing my cover. But I just thought I'd let you come along while I put the cover together. I know I've done this before on video, but we'll do it again and maybe we can chat a little bit. So I have my chipboard cut at 2 inches wide and to the right height of the book. And I'm just lining my pieces up. Oh, I shouldn't have done that because I need to put my tape on. They're not taped yet. And I already have my Tyvek cut. This was a postal envelope that I received some mail in. So I cut that up. I already have that cut to size, and I have my liner pieces cut to size, but I don't have my fabric for the spine cut to size yet. I have it picked out, but not cut to size. So I could have been working on this while I did all that jabbering. I'll tell you what I've been using in the journals. I used the kit for the girl journal, of course, but I also had some patterned paper and a lot of vintage magazine advertisements and articles that I cut things out of. Pictures of babies and advertisements for diapers and food and stuff like that. So I made little ephemera and pockets and tags and things with those things. I used a lot of vintage wrapping paper that was baby themed. What else did I use? I had a couple of vintage little gift tags, the kind that you stick on a package that says to and from or a gift for baby. I had some baby ones, so I used a few of them. And especially for the baby boy one, I used some other digital printables that aren't really like patterned paper. They're more like record keeping for the baby. And I had several sheets of cardstock from scrapbook paper companies that had cut aparts. So I used them in both of the journals. So I was glad I got to use some of my vintage stuff that I've been saving. So I applied my red line tape, or whatever that's called. Different companies make it, but I find that wherever I get it, it always works well. I buy it at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, or Joann's. I don't find it that often at Joann's, and I don't go to Joann's that much. But Michael's and Hobby Lobby, I buy it there. I should probably look and see if I can get a pack of it from Amazon with free shipping, because it's $3 a roll, and I mean, you could use your 40% off coupon, but you can't get multiple packs, so you'd only be saving 40% off of a $3 purchase. So I don't use my coupons for it. See, that's what I mean. I shouldn't have put the yo-yo on there because it won't lay flat. Let's try to do this though. Oh, it's way off. Look at all that. I cut the piece way bigger than I needed to. So I'll just trim some of that. And it's going to be covered up anyway. There. So we have our chipboard. Sorry, We have our chipboard and the Tyvek. And the Tyvek won't tear, and that makes the spine very sturdy. So next I will put on the fabric for the spine. I wanted to use this blue gingham because I thought it went really nicely with the plaids, but it's so thin, you would be able to see the brown chipboard and the Tyvek through it, and I didn't feel like messing with making more than one layer, so I didn't. So we'll use this. This is a heavier fabric. This is the first day this week that I haven't had to go out and do stuff. And I found that I was having a hard time focusing anyway. But I've maintained a pretty steady pace in here. Just had a couple of tough weeks. But my sisters and I took my mother out for lunch and then for ice cream for her birthday this week. Her birthday is exactly a week after mine. So that was fun. We had a good time. And I watched my grandsons on Monday. Going to have them in the morning tomorrow, and then my granddaughter. I have to get the boys on the bus, but my granddaughter isn't in school yet because she lives in New York. So after I get them on the bus, I have to go pick her up. So I'll have her. So I'd like to get these journals done today. I probably won't get them done, but maybe almost done, except for finishing touches maybe. If I can get this cover done, and then I can sew the signatures in this evening while I watch YouTube or TV. Usually it's YouTube. Okay, so there is my spine. And I will use my 3-in-1 glue. Yesterday I didn't have to watch kids. I shouldn't say it that way. I do enjoy my grandkids, but you know what I mean. I have a job. My job is in my studio. But I didn't watch any kids yesterday, but I had to go to the post office and mail like 23 packages. Thank you very much, all my customers. And my post office was having trouble with their internet. So thankfully he tried it. Oops, pardon me. He tried it with just one package instead of 23. Because it seemed to be working until it tried to take my debit card, and then it wouldn't process that. Can you imagine if he had rung up all 23 packages and then we had to get them all out of the system? So I ended up going to the neighboring town to mail my packages. When you mail that many packages, it takes a while, especially if some of them are international. And I did have 2 internationals yesterday. So that took me out of the house for a while. So today's my day to stay home. Seems like it's a nice day too. No rain. It doesn't seem super hot. But I haven't been out just long enough to get my mail, which is right next to my front door. I think maybe I'll try to take a walk later. So I was hanging out with Gail today, and she didn't know it, while I was working on this boy journal. I had Gail's channel on while she was making a cover, doing a craft with me for a Christmas cover. So thanks for hanging out with me, Gail. Usually I have music playing, or I listen to podcasts of a Christian preacher named Chip Ingram. He is very, very good. So I listened to several of his podcasts earlier today. Those craft with me's can be quite long videos, and I don't tend to want to watch the really long ones in the evening. So I thought I'd just put it on while I was crafting up here, so I could just kind of keep an eye on her and listen to her. I couldn't hear her very well because I had my air conditioner on and she was speaking quietly. But I could see what she was doing. Sorry for my reach right in front of the camera, but I need to wipe my glue off, the glue tip. When I glue fabrics, I wind up getting fibers all over my glue tip. So I'm not talking about what I'm doing too much, but you can see what I'm doing, I think. I have these are cardstock pieces of patterned paper, so they're nice and sturdy, but this is going to be the end papers. And I am running low on my 3-in-1. I'm going to have to go to Hobby Lobby soon. Because I don't think I have a spare. I have a spare of my Scotch adhesive, but not the 3-in-1. I'm going to start buying 3 or 4. I did start buying 2 at a time, but I think I'm going to start buying more. I'm crafting so much now that it's my full-time job that I run through my adhesives and my paper cutter blades very quickly. And I use a lot of sewing on mine, so imagine the adhesive I'd go through if I didn't do the sewing. Alright, there we have it. I will probably use some chenille for a pocket like I did on this one. This is a piece of chenille bedspread. And I did a collage on this tag. This is wrapping paper up here. So I'll probably make one of those for in there. And then on the back, I just have a piece of cardstock and a vintage card, baby card in there. 18 minutes. I guess I'll look for a piece of chenille. These are chenille pieces from Amour Fabriques. I don't know if she has any more. She said she was running low. I saw a part of a Goodwill haul. She was at the Goodwill picking up I think it was a white chenille bedspread, and said she was running low on her chenille. And I just got several bedspreads at the flea market, but I did cut the pink one up. I haven't cut the other one up yet, the other 2. I bought 3 more, and one of them is on my bed. After I washed it, I realized there were no stains and no tears in this one, and it was white and it looked big, so I put it on my bed and it was perfect. It was the right size. So for now, it's on my bed. I think I want to keep it, but I'm not sure. I did notice after I had it on my bed that there's some yellowing at the top, but I think I can live with that. And I can always cut it up into pieces if I decide I don't want it, but it's, like I said, it's a queen size. My bed's a queen size, and it goes all the way to the floor on both sides and at the bottom, so it's huge. It would have a lot. If you saw my haul video, it's the one that had like the folk art design. Really cool. Let's see. Oh, I stitched it to cardstock to give it a little more stability on the other one. Just getting a piece of cardstock. I think I'll just glue it since I'm on video here and I don't want to move my camera over to the sewing machine because I don't edit, like Gail just said on her video. I should just mark it so that I make sure I cut it straight. Let's see, what else can I talk about? Nothing, apparently. I love fall. Right now it feels like fall weather is really on its way. I know we will get some more hot weather before the fall really sets in, but I am not a fan of hot weather, so I appreciate what we're having right now, and I appreciate the fact that it's not raining. Normally I like rain, but we have had so much rain that we had some flooding issues around here. And it did rain yesterday, but not all day. That looks nice. I like that fuzzy chenille. What is it about chenille? It's just comforting. I used to have, maybe I told you already, I used to have a chenille bedspread when I was a little girl, and it had a ballerina on it. I'm sure my mother bought it secondhand, but my sister and I both had one. I loved it. I used to try to fall asleep on top of the ballerina in the same pose that she was in. But I'm a fidgeter, so I probably did not fall asleep that way. Alright, so there's that. Let me see if I can work on a collage, because I didn't do any stitching on this, I just glued it. So I'm going to grab a tag. And I'm going to try to remember what I did with that. I just used some scrap papers. So these are my scraps. I'll just cut it roughly and then I'll trim it when I'm done. I love that little image. This came from one of the printables, not from the kit for my design team, but something I already had. It's too girly. Try to find an image that I can use. This is adorable, but I think it's too big. I don't know, maybe. You know his feet are going to get cut off. Sorry if you couldn't see what I was doing. I'm just fussy cutting around this chubby baby. It's advertising formula or some kind of milk. Look how chubby he is. I like those vines along the side of this one. think I just cut off too much. Well, just cut another one. Okay, that'll work. Let's see, I'm looking for the little, I have little pink triangles on this, but I had little blue triangles. They came, oh, they come like this. I have to cut them. I didn't use the pennants. These are from those cardstock cut-aparts that I've had in my stash for a long time. Just need some paper for that space right there. Clouds or stars? Clouds. Nope. Stars. The clouds are too narrow and I don't want to turn them sideways. Oh, that piece works. Okay, so now I just have to glue everything down. This is a tricky part, remembering where you had everything. Oh, I want to glue it on here because I'm going to have overhang. Got to do it where you can see what I'm doing. Did it again. Okay, what next? Do this one next. Is that right? This is a good way to use up your scraps. Just do collages on your tags and whatnot. Just gonna trim this so I know where my edges are. Oh, I put the clouds up too high. So, I'll fill in with a little bit of plaid. Thought I had a little plaid tag scrap around here. There it is. Just about perfect. Okay. Obviously this baby is from an old magazine. But it's so adorable and chubby. Half an hour, almost done. Punch a hole here. And add one of my reinforcements. I will add fiber to that. Ta-da! Okay, so there's that. I just have to do the back, something to the back, and then I'll be able to sew these books together. Hopefully I'll do that this evening, but I probably won't do a video till tomorrow. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, I will probably cover this edges of the raw fabric with some sort of trim. But you'll see all that when I show the finished product. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.